And that good news is I don't want you to memorize the definitions. I'm not into memorizing definitions. You don't have to do that for me. In fact, you can tell I don't want you to do that because I wrote the definitions for you in your notes. Here's what I need you to have the ability. I tell you the vocab word, you can draw it for me. That's huge. Draw it for me. Bless you. And two, not only do I need you to draw it, but how do you write it in symbols? All right, how do you write it in different mathematical notation? That's what I need you to do. I don't care if you know word for word the definition, that doesn't concern me. But I do need you to draw it, the vocabulary term, on a piece of paper for me, and write it in the correct notation. So let's start out with the first one here today. I'm going to give you a bunch of them. And then tomorrow they're going to come even faster. First one, a point. All right, a point. I don't care that you know it has no length, width, or thickness, and think of it as a location. I need you to be able to draw it, identify it. So here we go. Here's our first drawing of a point. You guys have probably seen this before, right? It's a dot. But next to that dot is going to be its name, which is the capital letter. So I'm going to put a capital P there. So I need you to be able to draw it. And if you saw this, I put this up on the board tomorrow, you're like, everyone's like, oh, that is point P. That's how I name that bad boy. That's called point P. All right, so there's your first one, a point. Always probably putting a capital letter next to it, and you name it by its whatever letter is there. Now, I put infinite amount of points together. Infinite amount of points. Point, 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 point. Infinite amount of points. What I end up with is what's called a line. A line. Now let's go a little slower here about a line. Okay. Notice what I have at the end of it. What do you see at the end of it? You're darn right. You don't have arrows. That's a totally different vocabulary term. If you only have one arrow, that's another vocabulary term. You want a line? I need two arrows on it. Next up, remember I said a line is made up of infinite points? Well, let's put some points on this bad boy right now. Here's point A, point B, point C. How do you name a line and how do you write it symbolically? First, the symbol when we write a line is an L-I-N-E. I don't write those letters next to each other. I write, here you go, a smaller line. All right, there's the notation for a line. Underneath it, you must have at least two points on that line in any order you want. So there are multiple ways I can name this line. We could name it line AB. You know what I'm talking about. Let's keep grinding here. I could also name it line, go ahead, give me another two letters. AC, fine. I could name it line BA, line CB. Do I need to do two letters? No, you can do all three. We can name this line ABC if you wanted to, but bare minimum, you need two letters to name a line. Two letters. Got to have arrows on it, and everyone sees the symbol now for a line. And underneath it, you're going to give me at least 2 points on the line. Doesn't matter the order. Questions on the line here? Questions on the line? Okay, so I got point, line, and now a plane. Okay, this one's kind of a little bit more difficult than the other two to visualize. Because if you read it, a flat surface extends endlessly and has no thickness. How the heck do I draw that, right? It goes on endlessly. Well, we're going to not draw something that goes on endlessly. All we're going to draw is, let me get my plane up here. Here's what I'm going to have represented as a plane. Okay, kind of looks like a little, what we call a parallelogram. All right, let's put some things on this plane, in the plane. First thing you could see. Let's put a Z, capital Z in one of the corners. Now notice, did I put a point next to it? No, so that's not point Z. That's one way you can name a plane. Most times they'll have a capital letter in one of the corners. So I could name this, and there's unfortunately no symbol for plane, so we do have to write out the word plane. This could be plane Z. Plane Z. All right, ready? Let's put some points on this plane right now. Let's put some points. X, Y, W. You can name a plane by the capital letter in the corner, or, ready? Let me ask you this question. If I connected W, X, and Y, would that form a line? Remember what we just talked about with the line. Do you think if I connected them, that would form a line? No, definitely not. So I could also call this plane W, X, Y. And let me explain why that's okay. Name a plane by the capital letter in the corner, or, and I'm going to write this down after I tell you, or 3. Got to be 3 points on the plane that do not form a line. Okay, 3 points on the line that do not form a plane. Do not form a line. Okay, so 2 different ways to name a plane. Capital letter in the corner, or 3 points on that plane that do not form a line. And again, these could have been in any order too. X, W, Y, Y, W, X. It could have been in any order. Okay, I am going to have you work in your groups right now on the next 3 questions. Whoa, before you do, I want to explain that diagram I have up on the board over there. So let me explain that diagram. I have a plane. Take a look, everybody. I have a plane right up here, right? Everybody see the bolded in lines right here? I'm not going to name them because that's going to be your job here in a second. Everyone see those? Those are actually on the plane. Okay? This one right here and this one right here. Those are on the plane. Now, see how I have this one right here? And then all of a sudden it gives you a dashed line? It's going through the plane. That's the difference. Everyone see it? These 2 are actually on the plane versus this one right here is going through the plane at that point. All good? Everyone see the difference between it? Because you're going to see a lot of that, and you're going to have to draw that too. All right, so that's how you show me a line is going through the plane. You put the dashed lines in. All right, so in your group right now, with the correct notation, 1 through 3. Go ahead. I'll give you a couple minutes with the correct notation. So write me, using that diagram, first give me a line that contains point X with the correct notation. Use the new symbols I just gave you. Name them correctly. I'm going to start calling on people. You can talk to the people around you. It's all right.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about, like, violin, because, like, there's 2 sounds.
Or has it continued?
It can be X. Yeah. I was thinking the last one. I think 1 through 3.
Yep, that's it. Yep, numbers 1 through 3, and then we're going to do 4 together. We're ready to roll? See how we do here? Okay, give me a line that contains point X. A line containing point X. Name it correctly, right? I know there's multiple answers up here too. I'm just going to get one way though. Give me a line that contains point X. A line that contains point X. Here we go. Start us off right here, Mia. Line that contains point X. Line YR. I like it. That's one way. Yep. So I could go line. Make sure we're doing this right with the 2 letters underneath. Line YR. Give me another one that you might have had. Line YR, do we call it something else here? Rowan, call it something else?
Line XR.
Line XR, that's fine. Any combination of X, Y, or R, right? Any combination. And I didn't mention this when I said about lines, but take a look at this too. There is a way you could get away with not putting 2 points underneath. And sometimes this happens, sometimes it doesn't. So let me just show you. Does everyone see they gave me a lowercase r? I'm sorry, a lowercase m on this line. If they ever give, that's not a point. Sometimes they give you that lowercase letter out near the arrow. You could also name it that way. But that is not a point, though. Don't get that confused. That's not a point. So I could call this line lowercase m if I wanted to. All right, so just another way. I prefer you do it with 2 points, though. All right, remember, you can also do it with 3. Any questions on number 1? Okay, how about number 2? Give me a line that contains point Z up here. A line that contains point Z. Not as many options as the first one, though. Not as many. Jonathan, what do you got?
Line ZR.
Line ZR. I like it. Yep. The only other option, really, you guys probably had was line RZ. And also now, take a look. Does everyone see that line's got the lowercase cursive L there? All right. I could have also done line L if I wanted to. Again, that is not a point. But when I see that letter outside near the arrow, I can call it that. And then finally, how about a plane containing points W and R? There's a lot of options here. So give me a plane that I could represent with those points. Where I go, don't mess this up again. Alexandra.
I didn't get that one yet.
Okay, so W and R. I want a plane. So go back. There's 2 ways I can name a plane. Is there a letter in the top one of the corners that I could use?
B.
Okay, so one way. Perfect. I could call this plane B. Or I could name it using 3 letters on the plane that do not form a line. So give me 3 letters off this plane that do not form a line up here. Where am I going with this one? Keating.
WRY.
WR works for me. WRY. Yep, that's not a line. All right. Don't give me XYR, right? Because that does form a line. Don't give me YW. Well, you can't give me a third one anyway, but so don't. The only thing I probably wouldn't accept is any combination of X, Y, and R, because that does form a line. All right, you guys have any questions? We're going to do this next one together. Any questions? All right, now we have to draw our own picture now. So I'm going to take this one little piece at a time. Ready? Plane Z. Draw it. Give me plane Z. Notice I just gave you a capital letter, so we should know where that goes. Give me plane Z right now. We're going to build this one together so there's no issues. Okay, everyone's got plane Z. Hopefully I see a Z. Doesn't have to be in the top right, but some corner. That's not a point, so hopefully we put a dot next to it. Everyone's good on the first little piece. Next piece. All right, we got these 3 lines. Let's read it. Lines, X and Y intersect at point V. Lines X and Y intersect, meaning they're going to cross each other, right? I have 2 lines. So let's make your first line. Doesn't matter where it is. And we're going to call that line X. So where should the X go based on the work we just did above? It's not a point. Where should the X go? Right next to one of the arrows, right? So line X and line Y are going to intersect each other at a point called V. So go ahead, do line Y now. Draw line Y so it intersects X, line X somewhere. And where they intersect, you're going to put a dot and call that point, what do we got that? Point V? All right, so I don't care where they intersect. I'm going to call this one line Y. And they're going to intersect at a point V. It doesn't have to look like mine either. All right, as long as those two lines, you call them X and Y, and they intersect at V. Everyone ready for the third line? Questions? Third line, W. What line does W have to intersect? What line does W have to intersect? Where am I going with this one? Sydney, which line does W have to intersect? Just keep reading up above. Lines. Oh, here we go. Keep reading right here. And line. What does W have to intersect? X, right? So everyone make a note. Make a third line W, but it's got to intersect line X. And line X is already up there. So go ahead and make that third line. Call it W. Make it intersect somewhere on X. Don't change yours if it looks different than mine. I just want a line W that intersects X. There you go. Intersects X. Make sure you call it W. Make sure we call it W. And what am I calling that point where those two intersect? What's it asking me to look for that point right there? Where are we going here, Taylor? What's that point got to be called?
P.
Yep, point P. So that's got to have a P. And there it is. There's that diagram, plain Z. Questions, comments, any concerns? Line, I'm going on to new vocab, anything. Point, line, plane. It's seen separately, they're okay, right? But then we put them together, it's a little bit different. Questions, comments, concerns? All right, let's go. I got a handful more, and then you're on to your homework for tonight. Collinear. All right, I ask this every year. I get all different responses. What word does collinear have in it? Come on. Ian?
Linear.
Linear. Let's break that down even more. Let's go with the word linear, Matt.
Line.
Line, thank you. A lot of people give you the word ear, and I'm like, how do I associate that with geometry, huh? But yes, line. Collinear has the word line in it. Those are points on the same line. All points on the same line. So I'm going to get nuts right here with my drawing. All right, sorry you have to copy it. I'm going to get nuts with my drawing. Here we go. I'm going to put a bunch of points on those three lines I just made. All right, so I want 3, not 2. Give me 3 points in my diagram that are collinear after you're done drawing it. That's what I'm going to ask somebody. 3 points that are collinear up here. So give me 3 points that are collinear. Here we go, ready? 3 points that are collinear, going deep. Alexander, what do you got over there? P-E-N? Yep, right here. P-E-D, all on the same line. Good. So P, E, and D are collinear. And you're not off the hook yet. Give me another 3. I want another 3 that are collinear. There's another set of 3 up here that are collinear. Where are they? Where are they? Where are we going with 7? Matt?
FFC.
Oh, I meant to put an E there. Thanks. My bad. Yeah. Now there's two E's. Great. One job. How about I put a G there and we'll go FGC, huh? One job. It's embarrassing. Okay, good. Good. So if I have collinear, I have non-collinear, which are 3 or more points. Not on this. I'm not going to have you redraw the diagram. I'm just going to say see above for the picture. Let's use this same picture. All right, give me 3 points now that are non-collinear. Non-collinear. Now look, not 2 of them could be on the same line, but as long as that third point you give me is not non-collinear. Okay, so don't think you got to give me 3 points from 3 separate lines. No. 2 could be from the same line, but the third one, as long as it's not, we're good. Non-collinear. All right, what do you got for me? 3 points. Let's roll. Ooh, going Keating, back to you. E, G, and D. Yeah, E and G are, and so are E and D, but not all 3. Is everyone good? All 3 must be on the same line. Nope, they're not, so they're non-collinear. E, G, and D are non-collinear. Perfect, thank you. And how about another set of 3? Another set of 3 for me. Non-collinear. Where are we going with that? Matt, back to you.
D, F, E.
D, F, yeah, I just looked at D and F and we're good right there. I don't care where E is. D, F, and E are non-collinear. Perfect. Okay. So everyone's all right with collinear versus non-collinear before we get to our final term, which is coplanar. So if you know what collinear means, probably have a good idea what coplanar means, right? Points or lines on the same plane. All right, I'm going to use a classic, my cube example here. So I don't know if I got any artists in the building, but here's my diagram here. Here's my diagram. And we're going to label all those points. Here we go.
Is it top left A?
Top right here, that is A, yes, A. I'll have multiple letters here, good. All right, first question, so I know before I ask any more advanced ones. How many planes do I have up here? How many planes are showing? 6. I'm asking the number of faces, right? 6 planes. Okay. So let's start with points that would be coplanar. Points that are coplanar. Again, you just told me how many planes are up there? 6. So I want all of you right now to focus on one of those 6 planes. Focus on one of those 6 planes and give me 3 letters from your plane right now. Okay, you got 6 you could choose, so focus on one of them and give me 3 letters from your plane right now. That's what I want. 3 letters from your plane because those are coplanar. Here we go. Madison, give me 3 letters from your plane. Which ones? E, C, B, G. Okay, so your plane was, if I highlight it correctly, this one over here to our right, correct? All right, perfect. Take 3 of them. You got coplanar. So I'm going to use Madison's, which was CBG. CBG are coplanar. Good job. Now notice the definition. Points can be coplanar, and so could be lines. All right, lines could be coplanar as well. And I know some of you may be saying, well, Lines have arrows. I don't see any arrows up there. But remember, planes go on infinitely. I can only draw so much of it, though. So that's why the arrows aren't on. So again, focus on your plane that you picked. One of the 6 planes you picked, give me 2 lines from your plane now. Give me 2 lines from your plane. So focus on your plane. Give me 2 lines that you picked there. Rowan, back to you.
Line DA and HE.
Okay, so now you're using this plane, right? To the left? And which lines did you give me again?
DA and HE.
There we go. Everyone ready? So line, make sure we write it correctly. DA, and what was the other one? HE are coplanar. Good work. And as everyone see, there's a lot of combinations we could put there depending on what plane you chose. All right. Maybe you said DC and DA. You used the top plane. Maybe you said AE and EF because you used this front plane instead. All right, everyone good? Okay, back to your groups. 3 more questions to end class right here. Or 4 more, excuse me. 4 more. Take a look at my new figure. Work it out in your group. Give you about 2 to 3 minutes. Last 4 questions. Last 4 questions. You guys don't like talking to each other, huh? All good? Think we're ready? And hey, remember, if you get something wrong, it's fun. That's not a big deal. That's great. Actually, that's great in this class. All right, how many planes I got up here? My cube had 6. Not 6 here, though, I don't think. How many planes did I have up here? Where are we going? Zoe, what do you got back there? 5 planes. Good work. All right, next up, name 3 points that are collinear. 3 points that are collinear, right? All 3. Not 2 out of 3. Won't do it. All 3 need to be on the same line when you let me know here. So we don't have a symbol for that. So points, make sure we write that out. Points, give me 3 points on the same line. Where are we going with 9? Halo, what do you got? A, C, E. All right, ready? Oh, take a look. Take a look. A, C, E would be coplanar, but if I connect them, that doesn't form a line, though. See what I mean? If you change collinear to coplanar, I need 3 points that are all on the same line. All right, you see how A, C, and E don't form a line? Yes, no, Halo? Okay, you want to redeem yourself now. Give me 3 that do end up on the same line. Yeah, there we go. Got it. Knew you had it. Don't change it. Did anybody have FJB? FJB, that would have been also, everyone see that? FJB, those are 3 points that also would have been collinear. Anything else? Sorry. Okay, it had to have been either AHB, some kind of combination of that, or FJB. Give me, okay, now A, H, J, and D are coplanar. Are they coplanar? Yes or no, true or false? Are they coplanar? You told me there's 5 planes. So that means all 4 of these must land on the same plane in one of those 5. Not 3 out of 4, all 4. So do they or not? Do A, H, J, D end up on one of those 5 planes? Do they end up on one of the 5 planes? What'd you think there, Mia? Darn right they don't. Yeah, D's the outcast, isn't it? Hey, you're looking, ready? A, H, J. Ooh, okay, right there. Ooh, but D is not on that plane. Sorry. You gotta have all 4. Gotta have all 4. Okay, gotta have all 4. How about B, D, and F? Are they coplanar? B, D, and F. Do all 3 of those lie on one of those 5 planes? What do we say for this one here? 2s, Izzy? Yep. Right here. There it is. That plane right there. Good job. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Okay, again, reminder, it's out of the textbook. So everyone should have their Chromebooks open, right? Go into Google Classroom and looking at day 2, textbook pages for day 2. This does not go in the packet. It should go on some lined paper or a composition notebook. Check your answers still where? On Classroom, yep. Call me over if you're having trouble. Whoa, before, just a quick reminder. I know this is going to come up on homework real quick. Reminder. I did this already. Hey, reminder, because it's going to ask you to draw a line that's on the plane. You literally draw a line on the plane versus not. This is not on the plane. A line that goes through. Everybody good? On the plane, not on the plane. All right? Because I believe that one of the questions is going to ask you to draw something like that. So let's make sure we have these vocabulary terms down pat, because tomorrow, another flood of them. Call me over if you have questions.